Hello there, guitar enthusiasts. This is Joe Gabaldon, and today I'm bringing you a lesson on how to sound a little more like Steve Vai. Well, this is a very influential guitar player we are talking about, and he has great albums, fantastic chord progressions. But through all his music, I realized that he uses a couple chords a lot when he wants to create mojo. And I'm bringing these chords to you today, and I'm going to show you what you can play on top of them. So this is the first chord. This is an F major 7th in disguise. It looks like an F chord with a 9th. But what happens is, because I'm not barring this first two strings, they sound like this, B and E. What I'm getting is a major 7th and a sharp 4th. What the effect that this causes is for this chord to be number 4th of the scale of C. And that's the only option because of the raised 4th. So what is it that you can play here? Well, you can play the scale of C major, A minor, which to me they are the exact same scale. And you can play, for instance, the minor pentatonic of A. And I know what you may be wondering or thinking, well, this minor pentatonic of A is the same notes, also basically, those notes are contained in the scale of C major. And that is true. But when you only use the pentatonic and you use the resources of the pentatonic, meaning the cool bendings and all that stuff that the pentatonic is more friendly to, you create a little bit of a different effect. And I like switching between the two. So that's for this chord. The next chord is this. I guess the first impulse, if you're looking at my fingerings, is to think that this is a B minor 7th, which is not. In this case, is a bit more, even more deceiving than the previous chord. This is actually an E minor 7 chord with a major 9th. So what I'm playing exactly is in the 6th string, and then I have the fingering for a B minor 7, but I'm not barring either, just the same way I didn't in the previous chord. What I'm doing is I'm lifting my fingers, so I'm just playing this note, and everything else rings out of the nut of the guitar. Okay, so for this chord, I play a G major scale. And there's two reasons for this. The first one is the G major scale is very similar to the C major scale. Matter of fact, they only differ in one single note, which is F sharp. So the scale of C major obviously has no flats or sharps, and the scale of G major is exactly identical, but instead of having the note F, it's got the note F sharp. That makes it very smooth for a transition. If you play the right way, it will not feel like you're switching scales. It will feel really natural, and it will add this extra mojo. So that's the other reason why I'm using this scale is because it contains the scale of the pentatonic scale of E minor, which is one of the first scales that every guitar player learns when we are learning to play the guitar. So that's, I thought, something very intuitive to play, switching from A minor pentatonic to E minor pentatonic, two of the basics. So those are your options when it comes to playing on top of those chords. I'm sure you can find more, but these are the basic ones. Now let's talk about tips. Let me give you a couple tips so that you can play this successfully. One of the first issues that people have when they are playing chord progressions like this, where you have to switch scales, is that they don't start the next scale right at beat number 1 with the chord, and that causes the scale to sound bad. So here's how you do it. Every time that you switch to the next chord, you change to the next scale right on the spot. If you delay the change or anticipate, it's not going to sound very good. Another thing you do is, as I mentioned before, these two scales are very similar, the scale of G and the scale of C. And as a matter of fact, like explained, the only difference is one note. So, if when you switch from one scale to the other, you hit and stay a little bit on this note, in the F sharp or F when coming back, you will create this nice smooth effect in which you, I call it, you emphasize the mojo, because that's the note that makes the change and the thing, that's what brings the interest. And last but not least, if you're playing and you're trying to get a bit closer to Bass's style, I will encourage you to use this, the trem arm. And it may seem something silly and obvious, which it probably is, but he uses it a lot. And when changing over these chords, it even gives you a little bit of some space to breathe from note to note as you pull back and let the note ring. So I hope this helped. These are my tips for today about how to get a little closer to Steve Vai's style. If you have any other ideas or you think I missed something, feel free to leave a comment down below. And really don't be shy, feel free to comment and to bring new ideas, because I think that it's great that many other players may benefit from what you have to say. So go for it. And I think this is all what I got from you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.